Great stuff. And we're back again. Hopefully, it's fine. We have a few issues. It wouldn't connect for some reason to YouTube servers, it seems to be. Hopefully, we're fine now, is that right? It should be fine. If not, then everything's gone to hell. But it should be. Could be, maybe, possibly. Good evening, John. I don't know if did you get the notification for the last stream? There was an issue with the last stream, it seemed. It wouldn't connect to YouTube servers or so. Something like that. But anyway, how are we doing, John? There's 105 things to talk about today. Whatever about the other day we had nothing to talk about. It seemed to be an issue. Don't know what happened. I just don't think it connected to YouTube server because it didn't show me anything on my end. So not too bad. Not that great list. I'll tell you in a second about one thing, but apart from that, enjoying the sunshine. Yes. It's not really something to do with me or anything like that. It's just more what I've heard today. Enjoying. It's too hot, but that's the problem. Especially when you're out and about, it's far too hot. Whatever about going to the beach and stuff like that, that's fine. But when you're outside doing something, in the yard, like out in the woods, it's not too great. It's all right in the mornings, but then when it gets into the mid-afternoons, you're dead pretty much. You can still hear me and stuff, Sean, because I don't know if it's still broken. It's hard to know. Because the other stream, I think, was just fully broken. Things just weren't working. I meant to go live at 7. Imagine we're here early. It's not showing me live for some reason. That's the issue. Don't know why it's not showing me live. So I don't know what's the issue there. Let me see. Yeah, I think we're fine. Let me look at my computer here to see what's the story. It's kind of finicky, to be totally honest. Like, it's showing me that I'm live, but it's telling me that I'm not live. But you can still see me and all that, Sean. It's just to make sure, because it's hard to know my end for some reason. Maybe that might be the notification to tell me. Oh, yeah, well, now we're live, yeah. See, it has to tell me that I'm live. Imagine that. So that's how I know it's fine. So the other stream is just like the other bit that was about 2 minutes long. Because see, it wouldn't connect to YouTube server. Like, I got a notification saying it wasn't connecting for whatever reason. Don't know why, but it didn't connect. But sure. If I can find where I am, that'd be lovely. So yeah, that's the one I'm live currently on. This one needs to go. Delete. Get rid of it. It was 1 minute and 33 seconds. There's no point having that up in the channel because, Yep. Thanks, Sean. Thank you. Probably not be many people here because I did say 7 o'clock on the community post. But basically, I was here beforehand, pretty much. What I'm trying to say. I see. It's hard to know when you're coming home from work. Like, I'm home a while, obviously. I'm home just after 5 o'clock. But it's hard to judge exactly what time you're going to be like ready to start the stream and stuff. So that's why I just roughly throw out a number. You get what I'm saying. So apologies about that if anybody else is watching this, because actually some people do watch this as a video. Would you believe? Like, some people actually watch this after the live stream. Would you believe it? Because there actually is people who do that. Just to see what we're talking about. Like, afterwards, like, it's insane. But I suppose it's not the longest live streams ever supposed to. Now, there's 109 things we could talk about today. We just chat for a few minutes and then we get into them. Because there's that much, like in the last few days, there's that much that happened. It's insane. Like it's insane. And then the other stream we had nothing to talk about, and now today we have about 50 things to talk about. Let's see, the People's Republic of China. Something. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm sure you were here the last stream and you heard me saying, "Oh, there's not much. There's actually not that much left to talk about for today." There was a few things from the few weeks before, but apart from that, but a lot of things has happened since Saturday, would you believe? We get started. So basically, there's a lot of stuff, so you have to kind of bear with me. We just chat among ourselves, you know yourself, just to give it a few minutes. Is that fair enough? We do the usual thing. Just to chill for a second. Hardly there'd be many people here, but you know, because you know, I did say 7 o'clock, so it's only my own fault. I shouldn't have went live early, but you know, I'd rather be live than sitting here for the next 20 minutes because I have my tea. So that's why I said you should look at it. Might as well go live early. Should look at. Should look at less. But anyway, yes. Just yes. I see Ruth Coppage is not too happy. That's probably the first thing we're going to talk about. She's not too happy at the moment. But I suppose when was she ever happy? And Paul Murphy too, of course. Well, she thinks she's in the white. Anyway, I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, Sean. We get into more detail now in a second, but I'm just kind of looking through to see what the latest reaction is. Like she still thinks she's white. Going by what I'm looking at Twitter here. Great. See, I might as well get started, sure. But yeah, so basically, Grip Media, Ben Scallon particularly, was outside Dáil Éireann, outside Ledstow House, you know, asking, yeah, we could say that too, but asking people before profit, solidarity, people before profit, of course, Will Coppage and Paul Murphy, yes. And obviously Ben Scallon was asking very tough questions, you know, and they weren't happy about it. And basically Ben Scallon asked them about deportations. Does deportations have a role in asylums, you know, asylum seekers? And Will Coppage got very, very upset and said, "No, I won't talk to Grip Media." And in fairness, now, like in fairness, I'm going to give the mainstream Irish journalist, like there was a woman from the Mirror, the Irish Mirror. I don't. You've probably seen the video that I'm on about, Sean. But there was a woman from the Irish Mirror, along with I think the Irish Slimes. In fairness, they actually took up for Ben Scallon and actually said, you know, this man asked you a question, you should answer his question. So in fairness, they actually done some good work. The Irish Times, yeah, they actually imagine they actually done some proper journalism for once. And not talking about Ben Scallon, of course. Ben Scallon has always done great journalism, but I'm talking about the Irish Times and the Irish Mirror. At least they said, you know, look at Woot. You should answer this man's question. He asked you a reasonable question. Like it wasn't like, you know, Woot, can you give me €1 million or something like that? You know, it wasn't, you know, too out of the extraordinary to ask, you know, especially her being a politician. It'd be different if she was an only Joe. You know, you're not really obliged if you're an only Joe to answer questions like that. But when you're a politician, you know, you probably should. And when you're outside the House, you know, and you're talking to a journalist that's in the National Council of Ireland, you probably should answer his questions. But yeah, so pretty much she thinks she's in the white. Like she's 100%, like not a doubt in her mind that she's in the white. Which I don't know about that. Like even the journalists, like when you know you fucked up when the Irish Main Street journalists are literally saying the same thing as Ben Scallon. Like you should probably answer his question. Um, you know, hello there, Fiona. How are we doing? Um, but yeah, so it literally is insane. Um, First of all, that she wouldn't answer his question. Second of all, that they actually took up for them, like for Ben Scallon, um, the Irish Mirror and the Irish Slimes. Like imagine they actually done some good work today. Like they actually said about freedom of press and stuff, like freedom of speech and stuff. They actually said that. Journalists, real journalists, like not the fake journalists and stuff. What happened in the? I meant to check this out. But I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. You probably just have to join, but I'm sure you've seen the video of Will Carpenter and Paul Murphy. They're very upset. Oh, that's something. But yeah, no, it's insane that no. I was shocked that the Irish Times journalist. I can't think of her name, but you probably know her. That they actually took up for Ben Scan. That's what I was more shocked about. I wasn't surprised by Will Carpenter. That's always the way she was. And if you ask her something like that, she's never going to give you a good response. That's what I would never answer your question first of all. But that's Will Carpenter for you and Paul Murphy. They're more interested about I don't know other stuff. Asking a reasonable question, we can't have that. You know. But I suppose what they expect from people before profit. You might as well talk to the wall. You know. Oh, it's very rude. Yeah, it is really rude. Um, like especially when you're having a press conference, because people before profit called that press conference, like to discuss different things. Like they didn't, like the journalists just didn't turn up. You know, especially outside Leicester House, they wanted them there, people before profit, so they can say whatever they wanted to say. Obviously, they didn't take about Ben Scallon asked them a question. But he's perfectly entitled to ask questions, the same as any Irish citizen too. Um, you know, it'd be different if Ben Scallon asked, "Could you give me €1 million or €3 billion?" In fairness to a Carpenter, then I would say, maybe she was right not to give him €1 million. Uh, but it's a perfectly legitimate question, especially if you're a member of Dáil Éireann. Like it'd be different if you were an ordinary Joe on the street. But it's a very simple question. Do you agree with deportations and in the immigration system? And apparently, people before profit don't like that question. Who could have guessed it? That they don't want deportations? Not even self deportations. They want no deportations. And as you do, of course, allegedly, of course. Allegedly. I have some kind of bug, so I'm going to listen. What do you mean, like a stomach bug? Is that what you're talking about? Oh, you're talking about a bug. Sorry to hear if you have a stomach bug. Like there's some kind of there's a few people I've heard about that have like the sick stomach. But I think it's just probably down to the heat. That's what it is. You're not talking about the moths and that's the House of Hope. Yeah, I think it may be just the heat. That could be it. Because there's a few people I don't know anybody, but I've heard about people saying they're vomiting and a bit sick. Feeling a bit sick. But I hope we get better soon with it. It should just be a pass within a few hours, hopefully. Hello, Yusuf. How are we doing? Um, so news just was breaking when I was just about to go live. Apparently, there was a huge amount of damage done in Castletown House, which is I don't know where that is in County Kildare. 500,000 euro worth of damage to the Office of Public Work vehicles. I'll show you now in a second, but 500,000 is an extreme amount of damage. First of all, yeah, I presume it's just the heat. Unless you read something that didn't agree with you. But I presume it's just the heat because there's a few people I've heard about it all sick because we're vomiting, Hello there, Zoe. It's good voice to see you. How are you doing? It's good to see you. How are you doing? I hope all is well. I hope you're enjoying the weather. I hope you're out enjoying it. Yeah, in Castletown House, I think in Selbridge, it might be writing down. Yeah, Selbridge, yeah. I'll show you this. So this just before I came live. Now I don't know what it seems to be. Oh, is my internet not doing too great today? Like in the last room, yeah, it's probably some issue with it. It should be fine. Should be fine, hopefully. Because the last stream, I think, was just an issue with connected to YouTube servers. I don't know what you hear a few minutes ago, but yeah, we had to restart the stream because it didn't connect. Like it wasn't on my end; it seemed to be YouTube's end. See, there's a lot of people. We'll talk about India and Pakistan later on, of course. We're not getting to that now. We'll get into it later on, of course. But yeah, so there was 500,000 euro worth of damage done to vehicles of the Office of Public Works. Now, I don't know how anybody could do this, first of all. I'll show you the photos. Hopefully, everything doesn't blow up. So this is the Office of Public Works, obviously, over heritage sites, etc., etc. So this seems to be a dispute over the lands of Selbridge House, Selbridge, Castletown House, sorry, Selbridge, I'm thinking of the place. So 500,000 euros, a lot of I don't know how you even managed to do this. Like, how did somebody manage to flip the vehicles over? First of all, like this is some insane damage to do. And where was anybody? Like, is there no security or anybody employed to watch this? Like, I'm assuming this would have made a lot of noise, tipping over a fan and breaking windows and causing all this damage. Like this, like fan was whammed, like 100%. Like I presume, somebody must have heard something pretty much because this is an awful lot of damage, and a lot of noise, But 500,000 euro, that's an insane amount of money, and unfortunately, the taxpayer has to pay this. But it seems to be something to do with a local dispute between the Office of Public Works. What I was reading there. It seems to be a local dispute over the lands. I don't know much about it, but I look into it later on. I only seen it when I first went live. Anybody know anything about that? I highly doubt it's an asylum set, though. I don't think so. I think they would have said it straight after it was asylum set, I suppose. But yeah, 500,000 euros is a lot of damage. Like it is really, really 500,000. I don't know where to go from here now. So yeah, we talk about the hate speech bill. Imagine we're going to this now. But yeah, let me just get it up so I'm giving you the right detail. I've already made a video on it earlier on. As soon as I came in the door, the first thing I had done was make that video because it's extremely important to the country that not the video, but just the message, to get that message out. So Ireland's been given 2 months to implement the hate speech bill. Like the European Union wants us to implement the hate speech bill. The European Commission, may I say. Same thing, pretty much. So they wanted the Irish government to implement the hate speech bill within 2 months, or they would be fined for it. The European Union would take legal action. So it seems like the Irish government probably will do this within the next 2 months. I thought they would wait until next year. I didn't think they were going to do it this year. I said this oftentimes on stream, that they wouldn't going to bring the hate speech bill forward until next year. That's what I thought. I didn't think they were going to do it this year, but they are seemingly going to do it. I highly doubt they're going to go to court over it. I say they will probably try and implement it. So basically, they're going to try and wash it through in the next 2 months, it seems. Yeah, we'll talk to you later. Thanks for stopping by. We'll chat later. But yeah, it seems like they are unfortunately going to implement the hate speech bill within the next 2 months. It seems likely. Unless they say no, but I don't think they will, unfortunately. I don't think we have the politicians to have a backbone, unfortunately. So there we go. Yeah, so pretty much that's all we're going by at the moment. Ireland's been given 2 months to bring forward immediate legislation on the hate speech law or face legal action. Bite me, as I say to them. But yeah, so it seems like the European Commission is very upset at the moment. Along with the Irish government. Well, the Irish government has always been very upset they couldn't implement the hate speech bill. But most likely they will do it in the next 2 months. As I say, the height of that would be fined probably a few billion could be. We'd be fined into oblivion for not passing it. Some democracy, isn't that right? You can't say no to the European Union. You can just say yes, unfortunately. We don't have we don't have a choice. Some democracy, yeah, as I say. But yeah. Now there's other stuff. I've clicked on stuff. So yeah, this is not really related to Ireland, but it's still important, I suppose, to say, because it literally will be everywhere. Next May, you won't be able to escape this pretty much. It'll be on every YouTube video. It won't be on my YouTube channel, but it literally be everywhere, what I'm trying to say. It literally be on everything, and every podcast, everything. GTA 6 is coming out May 26th next year. And trailer 2 came out. So I talked about trailer 1 before. So trailer 2 came out for GTA 6. And it's going to be massive. Like it's going to be lunacy. How popular this game is going to be and how much money it's going to make in the first few hours. It's going to be mad, like lunacy, insane, like license to print money, pretty much. So I just wanted to bring that to you. So we're going to go now from GTA 6 to Carrickmacross. Of course, Carrickmacross is GTA 6 now. They're taking reference from GTA 6 and Carrickmacross. So we know about the meeting yesterday. That was held in Carrickmacross about the current situation in Carrickmacross, the safety concerns, other stuff too, of course. So a huge amount of people attended that. Over 500 people attended, which is a huge amount of people to go to a meeting, like a public meeting. It's insane. 500 is a lot for a small town like Carrickmacross. And not to mention then the protest a few days before that. There was about 1,000 people, I think, out. Insane numbers. Like, we're talking about insane numbers of people. But the consensus is going by the local media in Cavan and the local media across the country too, that the people are very sick and tired of it in Carrickmacross. And it's the one message you hear all the time in the local media here. And in fairness, the local media actually are talking about it. But it's the one message you hear all the time. The residents don't feel safe in Carrickmacross. And unfortunately, I listened to Northern Sound this morning. And it's the same thing you hear over and over again, that people don't feel safe in Carrickmacross. and local people who lived there all their life. There's a video up from Grip Media. It's up in my community post. Please have a look at it. It perfectly describes what I'm talking about. But people feel safe. And that's the sad thing to hear, and it's the truth. And you can hear it from people's voices that just don't feel safe in Carrickmacross. And it's a really sad thing to say, but it is the truth. And a lot of people fear for their lives, fear for to go out, fear for to go to the shop, collect a pension, go to the bank machine even. Like, a lot of people are terrified to go and collect their money in a bank machine. And Matt Carty's pretty much saying everybody in Carrickmacross is pretty much far-right extremists, dangerous wastes, may I say. That's what Matt Carty seems to take. Of course, Sinn Féin's of that opinion. Of course, Sinn Féin is not against it. Sinn Féin's pretty much with the government on the immigration. They're not against it. They're for it. So it's quite insane. And unfortunately, Carrickmacross is pretty much the same as nearly every town in Ireland, unfortunately, at the moment. Every big town, every small village. We see in Letterkenny, we see in Dublin the protest. There's many other places around the country I could point out. But it's literally in every town and every village. It's the same, unfortunately. And it's the truth. And the same thing's always brought up in every meeting when it comes to migration, when it comes to asylum seekers, direct provision status. It's all about we don't know who they are. We don't know people. We don't know anybody. And that's the thing. I suppose that's the thing with every case. Nobody knows who these people are. They just turn up. It doesn't make any sense for them. It doesn't make any logic, but it's the average state at the moment. But I do feel sorry. I feel very sorry for the people of Carrickmacross, people of Ireland too, because there was a shocking thing. Just looking back and just watching the video there earlier on too again, of the person with the knife, that Romanian with the knife. It was a terrifying thing, especially for the person taking that video too. But lucky that they didn't, try and break in and get the fellow who was taking the video. I was just thinking about that earlier on because he did have a knife, you remember. Like, it wasn't a toy knife; it was a real knife. And it could have done some serious damage to somebody. So thankfully, it didn't hurt anybody or kill anybody. But again, the unfortunate thing is there's always an next time, not just even in Carrickmacross around the country. There's always another day. Excuse me, sorry, apologies. And that's the fearful factor, the unknown, I suppose. The fear of the unknown, I suppose that's the main thing. Quite frightening, if you may say that. What is this now? So yeah. But it is very unfortunate that the towns have to have public meetings and stuff. And where was the majority of the councillors? The only person that was there, I think, was Matt Carty and the other Sinn Féin TD. And there was no other TDs or councillors there. So where were they? Were they all just asleep? Or where were they? Or they're just too afraid to come out and to speak? Because this is what the councillors are for. And TDs. That's what they're there to represent the people. And they're there to stand up for the people, of course. No bother, Fiona. I'll talk to you later. I hope you get better from your bug. I hope to see you soon. But the best thing to do is rest. Hello, everyone. How are we keeping today? It's all around the country. It's every parish in every part of the world. Not every part of the world, but every part of the country. It feels like all around the world too. Yeah, Fiona's not feeling that well today. Yeah, she's gone the water of flowers too. Everybody's gone. Everybody has had enough. um, so I'm just getting this other stuff up. So there was a driver. I know this is just a small case, but there was a driver the N87 in Cavan detected at speeds 152 kilometers of hour in an 80-kilometer zone, and you wonder why there's accidents. Um, oh yeah, I've seen the video. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I've seen the video. But it's pretty much everyone. I don't know if you've seen Grip Media's video that they put out on YouTube there. But they said the same. There's a park in Carrick Cross, and your woman pretty much said the same. That the open drug use and all that's pretty much the norm. Unfortunately, in a lot of parks nowadays. Sadly, it is. Yeah, sadly, that's the truth. Yeah, it is. Like literally, Carrick Cross. This is why Carrick Cross has becoming a big thing because literally every town in Ireland. Like Carrick Cross represents pretty much every town in Ireland. That's what it's representing at the moment. Um, that's why there's such talk because it literally does represent every town in Ireland, and how everything is just the same everywhere. Um, and it's a sad thing; it has to come to this, but it's the truth. Um, um, so we talked about wood carpenter and stuff. So she's still adamant. Like I'm just looking at her Twitter here. She's still adamant that she done nothing wrong. I don't know if you're talking about. I don't know if you probably know about it there only, but she's still adamant. Like she's hell bound that she's not going to admit that she was wrong. Yeah, about that. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Like the turnout at the protest. Then last night there was 800 or so. Like they couldn't all sit down; they had to stand in the hallway and stuff because there was that many people. But at the protest, there was definitely about 1,000 or so, which is a lot for a town like that. It's not that big of a town. Uh, I haven't been there in probably 2 years. I probably should have went up. But see, the only reason why I don't go to these things and stuff like that, I don't want to be like straight away as soon as I open my mouth, they know from Cavan. And I suppose it's not right for me to go up and tell them what to be doing. Um, you know. But it's literally every town in Ireland, like quite literally. The Castleblayney is the same. Clonus is the same. Mulligan, not maybe town is not that bad. But like Mulligan itself, the majority of beds in Mulligan for hotels are used for asylum seekers. You not know that the majority there's only 400 something beds in all of County Mulligan for tourism and for people coming to stay or whatever. Because the rest of them are all used for asylum seekers. Like Clonus is we talked about this before. You probably remember this, but Clonus is about nearly at this stage. It's something like 80 something percent non-Irish. You know, something like that. I'm not too sure. Don't quote me on that figure. But if you look up an article, there was an article, and we talked about it at the time. You probably don't remember it, but I remember talking about it to you. Or was it somebody else? I can't remember. See, there's that many times I'm talking to people, you can't remember anything. But no, but you probably know what I'm talking about. Anyway. You've seen the video, because the video has gone viral. But it's insane. I wouldn't mind if she was going somewhere. Like, she was at a press conference kind of thing outside the door. I wouldn't mind if she was on the street and she had to go to a meeting or something like that. Fair enough. But she literally was at a press conference outside Leicester House. I wouldn't mind. But and a journalist, like not an only Joe, but a journalist asked a question. But Yeah, Mullin's such a small place. Like it's Cavan's a lot bigger, obviously in size and stuff like that. But you know, obviously there's more people in Cavan too, and than Mullin too. Um, so hopefully something will be solved in Cavan, because but I'm not too hopeful because Matt Carty was there last night along with a few others, like one other Sinn Féin. Uh, and they don't seem like we're going to put a stop to this right here, right now. Uh, they're pretty much him and Howan. That's pretty much it. Uh, you know, him and Howan. Um, so I kind of just want to move abroad for a second, not move abroad, like literally move abroad, but talk about the current situation in India and Pakistan. Now we know this. India's conducted strikes, like military strikes with airplanes, with drones too, I think, on targets in Pakistan itself, on the pretty much designated line. So hopefully it does in Kashmir. Yes, the disputed, like it's disputed who owns it. But there's been strikes in Pakistan itself, like in core territory of Pakistan, not even disputed area. So everybody is very concerned that this could escalate, because Pakistan and India are nuclear powers. Like obviously they're not going to lose their nuclear weapons. That'd just be insane, suicidal, pretty much. But still, it's very concerned because huge population, huge armies. The two countries have huge armies and huge militaries and huge capacity. And we don't want another war in the world. There's already one in Israel and Palestine. Like the Israeli government are threatening to destroy Palestine entirely. They've already done that, so they want to finish the job pretty much. We see in Ukraine and Russia, there's already a war there. Then Myanmar too, the civil war in Myanmar, and then Sudan too is getting pretty bad. So pretty much there's loads of conflicts everywhere. Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying too. We don't want it's no benefit to anybody, not even India and Pakistan, because they're losing people. They're losing their own citizens, but not even for the Western world and the Western countries around them too. Because if there was a conflict, say for example, real kind of not even just a border skirmish, but if there was a conflict, there would be huge migration of India being over 1 billion people and stuff like that, and Pakistan nearly hundreds of millions of people. The humanitarian situation would be insane too. Like just to keep people fed and looked after, it'd be madness. So that's why we don't want any wars. And Ireland is of the position. I've said this many times that there should be no. We want peace in the world. We don't want war. War achieves nothing. Just looking at this, 19 months, a long war in the Middle East. Just talking about the Middle East was that more than 52,000 people have died. Majority of these are civilians. 15,000 are children. It's insane amount of suffering. Like it is unnecessary and insane amount of suffering. And the same with Israel at the moment. They said about the Israeli, who was one Israeli minister specifically. Um, they said they want to destroy like everything in Palestine. Um, um, Let me just fact check this. I just want to. I have to just fact check this so I'd be sure I'm right in what I'm saying. Um, Give me a moment, sorry. Where did I see this? Now it's about looking for the thing. This is always the worst thing. Uh, oi, oi, oi. Yeah. The Israeli finance minister said Gaza would be entirely destroyed. Um, which sounds like, they pretty much have done that already. So, you get what I'm saying. But yeah, so it's the Israeli finance minister. Um, it's so it's quite insane. Um, it's sad to see so much suffering and so much pain in the world. Um, but we hope to God that it doesn't come to war, all out war with India and Pakistan. But it looks that way. Unfortunately, it seems like it's going that way. Going by what I'm seeing online and stuff like that, and videos and stuff, it does seem like Pakistan will respond and probably hit a few sites in in India, and then um, yeah. See, war is profitable for the people at the top and the big military-industrial complex, but not for the only Joe. The only Joe loses his son, losing his daughter. The elites, the world elites, they don't lose their sons and daughters. They don't lose their lives. It's only the middleman that loses their lives. Um, and that's the unfortunate truth, but it's the sad truth. Um, so just staying abroad for a second, talking about conflicts in the Middle East and in Asia. They're going to elect a new pope, so I don't know who's going to be it. I know they're talking about 6 or 7 candidates, as I presume. I don't think there's been a new pope elected yet, but they are discussing who is going to be the new pope. But I can only hope that it'll be some way decent pope. Um, we can only hope, but I don't know. So I don't know. I wish I could tell you who's going to be the pope, but I don't know, to be totally honest. It's kind of 50-50 who's going to be the pope. But democracy. Um, I suppose you probably heard about the hate speech bill. Well, there's not much move with the European Young What's movement on it. Where am I? Sorry. See, there's other stuff about the talk too. Just trying to find it, so I'd just be sure. Obviously, we talked about GTA 6 a while ago too. I think everybody should. That's the main thing everybody's talking about. The world's going to shit. GTA 6. Um, you know, I'm just reading something here. Um, so just bear with me a second. No, just listen back to. I didn't hear this bit in the Northern Sound Radio about Cap McCross. Just going back to Cap McCross. We were just talking about Cap McCross earlier on. I didn't know about this at the time now until now. Uh, because I heard what some of the locals in Carrick McCross were saying, like they rang into Northern Sound today to talk about it. So Joe Finnegan, obviously, he's one of the hosts in the morning. He's up until about 11 o'clock or so. Um, he's pretty much up Fianna Gael and Fianna Fáil's hole. Like, let's be honest. Everybody, I often heard Val Martin saying it hundreds of times. I've said it many times too. Like, Joe Finnegan's up the hole, Fianna Fáil and Fianna Gael's hole. Like, he's literally up the hole. He defends them in every point and tone. So there's no surprise he's taken up for the government here. He's pretty much saying, "Oh, there's no problems, nothing to see in Carrickmacross, everything's fine." People were protesting. Loads of hundreds, 1,000 people are protesting. 500 turned up to over 800, sorry, not 500, turned up to a community meeting. There's nothing to see here. Everything's normal. That's going by Joe Finnegan. So that's what I'm just reading here, sorry. But there's no surprise there. um, Joe Finnegan never really spoke anything. But yeah, sometimes Northern Sound does good journalism. Joe Finnegan's not the greatest person to have around. Um, Let me see. So there's that much literally I could talk about, but literally we could write the book on it. So yeah, that was just talking about Calvin Cross. We talked about Calvin Cross earlier on. Now we're basically going full circle again. Let me see. I'm just trying to figure out where else am. So we're going to go back to Monaghan for a second because at this point we're staying Monaghan. Who want to stay Monaghan? But so there was an incident a few weeks ago. This was brought up in Monaghan County Council that a woman was knocked down by an e-scooter. An elderly woman was knocked down in Monaghan Town by an e-scooter and spent weeks in hospital. Now, I've talked about this before about e-scooters and stuff like that. They are dangerous. Like people flying around on them and on footpaths and stuff. They're dangerous, but especially with elderly people. Whatever about young people, we can move out of the way in time. But elderly people, in their 60s and their 70s and stuff, they have mobility issues. People with disabilities too. People with walking sticks. People in wheelchairs. They simply cannot fly out of the way. If somebody's on a scooter, an electric scooter, or what's it called, e-scooters. That's the word. So people have to be considerate of the members of the public around. Of course, but yeah, it is shocking to see. I've seen it myself on the street. I've seen it firsthand. The disrespect of a lot of young people too. Just going around in these scooters and stuff. Don't give a shit. They don't give a shit who's around. Like on the footpaths and stuff. They'll go through people if they need to be. They don't care about elderly people, people with walking sticks. They just don't care. And then they have their earphones in and they're not paying attention. In a lot of cases, they're not paying attention. Maybe they don't mean to do it. But in a lot of cases, they have the earphones on, headphones, and they're not paying attention to what's around them, what's happening around them. It is an extreme danger, to be totally honest. It's extreme danger. But a lot of this question are extreme dangers. So it's been reported yesterday, I think, the Dáil Éireann sat for only 31 days, like a month. And they've been literally, the last election was something like nearly last November. So it was 158 days, I think it was. Yeah, 158 days. Imagine that. Out of them 158, Dáil Éireann only sat 31 days. Imagine that, 31 days out of 158 days. Obviously, they still got paid. Don't worry, they all got paid. Even though they weren't there and stuff like that, they still got paid. Don't worry. They made sure of that. That's top priority, highest priority. Nothing else matters as long as they get paid. That's the main thing. Everybody panicked if they didn't get paid. Um, Panic. Um, Panic. So this is to do with the GEA, camogie players particularly. So this is to do with shorts. So the GEA are talking about they can't wear shorts or something like that. Now, a lot of people have taken this to heart. Let's put it that way. Like everything, like main priorities have gone out the window. Like this shorts debate, even though it's important, like you shouldn't really be telling people what to wear, etc., etc. But this debate has gone kind of out the window. What I mean by that is literally everything else is irrelevant, like immigration, housing, and everything just gone out the window. But the shorts debate is the top priority of everybody. It's literally insane. Like all the senators and TDs are up in arms over it. If they were up in arms over this, they should be up in arms over other stuff, you know. Because to hear them talk, you think there was a murder after been committed the way they're going on. It's insane. Now, but still important, of course. You shouldn't be telling people what to wear, etc., etc. Particularly when it comes to sports and stuff like you probably would need shorts because it is very physical. It's a very tiring and stuff, and obviously you get very sweaty and stuff like that. You get what I'm saying? You get me? Uh, so I don't know, but I think we should be talking about other stuff that is really, really important. Like Calc McCaw should be the probably main topic of the country. And it is on Twitter. You can see on Twitter it's trending on Twitter. Um, these issues, the real issues that happen. But obviously it is equally important too for a lot of people. Let me see, am I right? Everybody's just left me. Everybody has enough of me. Let's see. Sorry, give me a second. Reading stuff. Reading stuff. I spent half of the time live streaming reading. Like it's like going back to school. Just keep reading. Constantly just reading. But I just want to. We'll go back abroad again for a second. How does that sound? We're going switching from Ireland to here to there to the other place. So this is to do with the Minister of Sitters. First of all, this is a terrifying picture. Second of all, poor necklace. I literally don't have I forgot to get the translation of this. I have a translation of it, but I don't even have it up. I showed you the Finnish thing. I didn't show you the English version of it. Whoops. See, that's how incompetent I am sometimes. Let me find it. Sorry. Give me a moment. I have it up in the community post now. What the hell am I? Sorry. No, I probably won't find it now. I literally looked up the wrong thing. That's great. Great stuff. Mighty. It's a terror. Terror. Let me see where I'm. Sorry, give me a moment to get this kind of angled out. Yeah, that's lovely. That's great. That's mighty, as they say. Mighty. Mighty stuff. Yeah. So pretty much, she's pretty much said what I've been saying for the last 2 years, that pretty much no amounts of cuts will help anything to get the country on the path to fast economic growth. So she looks delighted, you're going to fix the country. They took on they took on 700 times more debt. But you know what? We destroyed many people's lives, put hundreds of thousands of people into poverty. But, at least we cut, like, no apology for all these cuts. Like, this is a woman that's a psychopath. Like, pretty much she said the obvious thing now. She's pretty much said the same thing I've been saying for the last 2 years. And she's finally admitted it. So maybe we might see the sitters being put away forever, hopefully. Not likely, but I say she'd be cutting more stuff by tomorrow. She'd get tick again and just start cutting. So that's great. Lovely stuff. I look forward to not being cut. So that's that. So I think that's pretty much nearly it for tonight. There's a few more things I could discuss, but I think we'll leave it there for tonight. We can pick this up Saturday. There's a few more things, but only small, minor stuff, and they're not that important in the grand scheme of things, I suppose. So is there anything else before we go tonight? Anybody want to tell me or anything? In the grand scheme of things, yeah, there's a few other stuff, but nothing too major, like right here, right now, we need to do. 30,000 people are gathered in St. Peter's Square in Rome. Insane amount of people when you really think about it, too. Is my YouTube chat banjoed? I had this problem earlier on too when my YouTube chat was banjoed. Seems like everything's banjoed nowadays. Give me a moment. More Whedon. Great stuff. Mighty. I spent the majority of these streams just Whedon. It's insane when you really think about it. Like, literally spend half the stream Whedon stuff. Like, it's mainly, might as well be Whedon Simulator. Be totally honest with you. Why am I here? What am I doing here? Mighty Mac. Sorry, I'm reading this. It's not that important. I was going to talk about this, but it's not too important. It's still important, don't get me wrong, but not too crucial. It could probably wait to Saturday. It could probably go a bit of explaining behind it. So I think that's it for tonight. We probably should have live streamed outside. But then again, I wouldn't have been able to talk about everything I wanted to talk about today because it was a good bit we had to talk about in about an hour. I don't think we'll be outside Saturday because we have all these stuff. There's a few more. There's about 10 more things I want to talk about. And then along with other stuff that's probably going to happen over the next few hours too, of course. So I don't think we'll be live outside. So just to say too, we'll not be playing any games this week, any more games. Just I know a few people asked me that. We probably won't be starting any games yet within the next few weeks anyway. Now, when it comes to next Wednesday, this day next week, this Wednesday coming pretty much. I don't know, will there be a live stream, to be totally honest? There might be a short one. There might not be much. I have an event Wednesday evening that I have to go to. So I don't know. It might be only about 10 minutes, like not 10 minutes, but half an hour or so of a live stream. Next Wednesday, we see how we get on. I don't know. I might not be even live at all. So we'll see. But sorry, excuse me. But we'll be definitely live Saturday. Basically, what I'm trying to say. I don't know about Wednesday. Next Wednesday. So keep that in mind, I suppose, in case I forget to tell you Saturday. I probably will remember. I say I will remember, hopefully. I probably put it up in the community post center just to let you know, because I won't be live probably next Wednesday. I will be live, but it'll be only a short one if I was live, and so just to let you know. But anyway, that's it for tonight. I think everything is banjoed. To be totally honest, I think everything on YouTube's banjoed for some reason. So yeah, that's all she wrote for tonight. Enjoy the rest of your day, enjoy the rest of Wednesday, and enjoy the rest of your week. There's a video up at the moment about the hate speech bill. If you could watch that, if you get a few minutes, I would appreciate that, because it's important to get the information out there. The land of the rising sun, indeed. But yeah, so we see you next Wednesday. I can't promise that we will be live. We won't be live. We'll see how we go. But anyway, take care, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and I'll chat to you Saturday for another stream. I don't know what time, probably one this time, Saturday. So yeah, thank you, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your night, and goodbye.